So I just want to do one final video going over the Chucky animatronic rigs that I designed. I've been designing them since 2017, but this last year I kind of just stopped doing them. They were kind of getting in the way of my other art stuff, but in my free time I did design a new rig. I did love my old design. I know people tried to recreate it, but I wanted to design a new one to prove that my design could have been um, better. So I designed a new one that is a two-tier system, and it fixes pretty much everything that I had issues with in my old rig. So this is my new one, and this is the old rig. So yeah, I mean, this rig I've been designing since 2017. Like, originally it had spots for eyelids to do a upper and lower. Like, my Chucky that I fully built has pretty much a generation 1 of this rig, and this is like generation 10 or 12 or something. Like, I've been redesigning it constantly. But the problems with this rig were servo placement, pivoting points, all of that. And they are, some people may say they're not that big of an issue, but for me, they were issues because I tend to be a perfectionist. So the I'll kind of go over those. So yeah, firstly, pivot point. It's on the outside. What that does is it makes it so you have to have a big enough head for it to fit in. The second issue was the pivoting point for turning the eyes left and right. So the servo would mount in here, come under, and it would connect to a bar that was connected to two ball joints. So what would happen is when the servo starts turning this way, that bar and the eyes are going the opposite direction. So what's doing is it's starting to bow that bar and putting a lot of stress on that servo. And same thing going the other way. So that was one of the issues. The other one, the eyelid servo sat here. It sat like this. It would go like this as the eyelid is trying to still go forward. So it just stress and binding and whatnot. So I wanted to perfect that and fix that on my newer design. So that's why I went with a two-tier system. So this design is a lot nicer. So a servo for turning the left and right sits right here now and there and connects to this bar that's right here. And now when that servo turns, it's turning with that bar on the same arc. So now there's less stress and less binding on that servo. This one, the holes need to be reamed out a little bit because they're tight, but yeah. So that's that. Then still has a similar mounting system as my old one. So sliding brackets that I'll have there. And this piece is nice because I can adjust the size. So this one I did design originally for the Tommy Goodguy head. So I know it fits in there, no issues. I did test it in the head that I still have. Yeah. And then up here you have two servo mounting spots there. So finished, it would look something like this. So you've got those mounted. So now, as you can see, this is the eyelid servo here. The servo horn goes straight forward now when it's pushing the eyelid down. So when the eyelid's going down, the servo's going down. So they're going at the same, and then same with the eyes, turning left and right, and then the up and down servo is here, and that mounts to this bottom plate. So I was still able to keep a couple things from my design. So my my lid bracket, I really wanted to keep that. My eye rings that I designed. I actually eliminated a couple parts as well. So I eliminated a couple ball joints, rod, and whatnot as well. And then as you can see, it pivots from the center now. So this one, like that, which makes it a lot nicer to work with, because now I don't have all that extra on the outside to deal with. So fitting it in heads is a little nicer, and I designed a slappy head from Goosebumps, and I needed obviously a thinner head, thinner rig for that. So this rig will work perfect. And what's nice about it as well is the bottom piece, I can actually make that smaller or bigger. So I can bring these in, I can bring it out, and I can add to this. So with my slappy rig, I've designed it to where it's supposed to have mouth, eyes, lid, and eyebrow movement. So all of that can be adapted onto this bracket. So say I needed to come out and then up to mount the servo up here for the eyelids. I can do that. I can put holes to go down to a bracket that attaches to a servo to do the mouth movement. So yeah, this setup is just so much nicer. But yeah, I figured I'd kind of just show that off. As of right now, I'm not selling any. If I do, they will not be like this. I probably won't be doing any full rigs anymore. Reason being, and this will actually benefit people that buy rigs. In the past, when I'd sell a rig, people treated these like toys. So they would abuse the crap out of the servos, hurrying, going left and right and all that. And what happens with that is the servos eventually go out. So I would get messages after messages on how to replace a servo and whatnot. So if I sell them, they will be sold as a true kit, similar to when you buy an RC car from a hobby shop. It's literally a chassis. You have to buy the wheels, you have to buy the motor, you have to buy the remote, all of that. That's what I will probably end up doing. I will sell a chassis kit that is essentially this and lids. I haven't decided how I'm doing the lid yet. I'm either going to do the extra work and actually cut one out, or I will just send a sheet. So when I vacuum form these, I do 2 at a time. So I may do it that way. But we'll see on that. Yeah, and then I would send instructions on how to put it together, program everything. That way, if a servo ever goes out, you know exactly what to do. When it goes out, you'll know exactly where to reset your shoehorn, how to do stuff in the proper procedure. So, yeah. But, yeah, I just figured I'd give a little update on those. It'll probably be the last one, though. I just don't have the drive to do it much anymore. Especially seeing how they're not really being made anymore. So tracking them down is a little more work, and people like to charge a lot of money. So I just don't have the drive for it. I'd rather work on my other art stuff. But